Okay, let's talk about another one of the fundamental differences that happen in relationships here. And this time I'm talking especially in husband and wife, male-female marriage relationships. And that's a concept that men and women are distinctly different, not just physical ways, but emotionally and spiritually and on many different levels. And they're especially different in the ways that we give and receive the concept of love, and how it and our different needs and our different methods of going about doing things. We've heard a lot of talk about this idea that men are from one planet, women are from another planet, and I think that comes from our perception that we are so different from each other, and we so don't understand the other sex so much. It's the gulf is so vast we may never come to a mutual understanding of each other here. And that comes from running on default on our blueprint, because nobody's ever taught us what those differences are. Therefore, they seem extremely difficult, if not impossible, for us to even fathom and understand. But I'm telling you that the deeper I dig into this, the more I realize there's some fundamental principles at play here that are fairly common generalities across the board between males and females. And when we learn those and start implementing them and building our understanding upon them, then our relationship with our spouse can be taken to a whole new level, because we really can, guys especially, we really can comprehend how women think. Trust me, it's possible. And the flip side's, I'm sure, true of the ladies. You guys probably think we're all overgrown children about half of the time, and we really do have a thinking process, and it is possible for you to understand it, but it takes understanding some principles that underlie these different sorts of things. And I get a kick out of a lot of times going through some of the different perceptions that we have and the ways that we see each other and that we want to be seen. And I think about, let's just go back to really what the theme of most major successful movies is, to what the theme of fairy tales and stories in our childhood were, and that is that women want to be seen as a princess, as the queen of the home, as something special that's on a pedestal that her husband, admires and worships and adores. And that's how they want to be seen and perceived. Guys, on the other hand, we don't want that. We don't want to look like a princess. We don't want to wear a long, pretty dress and a crown. None of that. It just does, for some reason, doesn't appeal to us. Okay? What a guy wants to be seen as is your knight in shining armor. We want to be the man. We want to be your man. We want to be right into your rescue and come in our bright and shining armor on our charger with our sword and our spear and our shotgun, or whatever it is that we're going to come in and rescue you with. That's our perception of ourselves. Now, on the guy's side, that perception comes from, we want to be, it really goes way back into what our genetic makeup is, where we're designed to be the protectors, the providers, the hunters, the whatever it is that the man, the testosterone-driven thing is. That's what we want to do, and how we want to be perceived as being good at it. That's why athletics is such a giant thing with a lot of guys, is that we see that as the ultimate battlefield that we have available to us in our society today, where we can go out and fight our battles and prove our worth and our toughness and our value without getting thrown in jail for it. Okay? And so that's the kind of picture that a lot of guys have of themselves. Now, in all fairness, there are a lot of guys who don't perceive themselves as athletic or interested in athletics in any way, shape, or form. And there's nothing wrong with that, because their field of accomplishment is probably something entirely different. There's lots of fields and areas that guys excel in that are important to them. And it could be athletics, but very often we have a guy who might be an extremely intelligent person intellectually wise, and they want to be known as that. They want to be understood as being great in that field. And or it might be some guy's a phenomenal artist or performer of some kind, and that's his field that he wants conquest and accomplishment and conquering in. And it doesn't matter what the field is. It just understand that guys have that going on, and they want to be looked up to and respected and honored for some kind of a thing in their life. Now, on the flip side, ladies have an entirely different system of needs, and there's some pieces that are similar and maybe even exactly the same, but the needs that a lady has are very different from a guy in most respects. And a lady really does have a deep-seated need to be adored and treasured and cherished and those sort of things. And so the love word is really important on the ladies' side. And here's the news flash that was revelation to myself, my wife Penny, and every single person we ever teach, is that guys do not value the love idea in the same way that ladies do. For guys, the equivalent of love is respect, and being respected and honored and looked up to. And yes, we want to be loved, but if you give a guy a choice between feeling loved and feeling respected, 95% of the guys are going to choose respected first. And I think that's a revelation to most of the ladies out there, because nobody's really ever taught this up to this point. Now, I'm not the genius to figure this out, okay? I learned this from another phenomenal book that's called Love and Respect, that's written by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. And I apologize if I didn't pronounce his name right. But it's a phenomenal book that delves into this in extreme detail. And when I say that, it makes it sound boring. It's not. It's a really interesting read. I encourage you to get it and dig into it. But this whole love and respect idea is a fantastic dynamic that goes on between men and women. And we need to understand it. We need to work with it. A similar related thing is what's the difference at the end of the day when the guy comes home from work, and maybe mom's either coming home from work too, or she's been home working with the kids all day. But when we both arrive in there at 6 o'clock in the evening or whatever time it is, we both expect different things to happen at that point in time. Us guys, we want to go somewhere quiet, sit back and decompress and relax. And then we can come out and interact with the family. The ladies, on the other hand, and I'm generalizing here, but generally these things are right. That's why we generalize, right? Okay, generally speaking, the ladies get home and they want to tell you what happened in their day. And if we guys can get to where we can allow them to do that, we need to understand two things. First, they simply need to tell you about their day. And second, they're not looking for solutions unless they ask for solutions. Now, we want to be problem solvers, so she says, I had this deal with so-and-so today, and they treated me horribly. We want to jump in there and say, well, here's what you need to do tomorrow to fix that. Don't do that, because that's not what they're looking for. They're just looking to tell you about their day. Okay? So that's another fundamental difference between guys and gals. What's critically important for us to understand is that we do have these differences. And again, I can't even begin to hardly scratch the surface on a 10-minute video clip. Get to our website, dig into these books that I'm recommending, get the DVDs or CDs that we use to spend an hour talking about this concept, or 2 hours, and get to where you understand what I'm talking about here, because this is magical in how it can impact your relationship. Talk to you later. See you. Bye.